What's going on, everybody? Oh, a little bit of technical difficulties there. Welcome to Beyond the Forecast. I'm here with meteorologist Christy Stewart. We're going to be talking about the coastal storm coming in.
Yeah.
This thing could be pretty potent.
Yeah.
I think is the word that I've been thinking about when I look at the models for this storm. This will probably be one of our stronger coastal lows that we've had in this kind of cycle. I say cycle because we've had a few. Of these kind of coastal lows so far in the last month or two.
Yeah, we've seen quite a bit of them, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Normally, I feel like we get maybe a couple of good ones a year, but this has been kind of back to back for us now.
Yeah, and the Outer Banks doesn't need any more of them. They really don't need any more of them.
No, they really don't. Yeah, I'm curious to see if they lose more houses, unfortunately, there, because there are some houses that are right there. And
we
they
are
already
up to
lost
9. We're up to 9.
That's wild.
And it's crazy to think that we could, possibly lose more. Some of the Buxton especially. I remember seeing on social media this professional surfer. His name is Brett Barley. He surfs down in the Outer Banks. He's been there his whole life. And I keep seeing his posts of comparing 2016 to now or 2014 to now.
Yeah.
And the beach looked so much different back then compared to now. Mother Nature giveth, Mother Nature taketh when it comes to barrier islands. And this is kind of the story down there. The beaches used to be so much bigger. The dune systems used to be so much more full. Now it's just water to houses, water sometimes under these houses too.
Yep.
And it doesn't even take storms that are of this strength that we're potentially looking at. It's, a steady easterly flow over a couple of day period could be enough to do it.
Yeah.
Because all you need is a little bit of erosion there. And it's, you go from a little bit of beach to right onto NC-12.
Exactly. It is interesting to see some of those comparisons. I've seen some of them going around on social media. And that's crazy to see how quickly everything has changed.
Yeah, it only takes one storm now.
Yeah.
It really just takes one. I think Aaron kind of kick-started this too.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of weakened everything. All the dune systems down there, they got compromised with Aaron, and then it just opened, the pattern opened the floodgates to all these other coastal systems. And we had Umberto offshore. We had Imelda just offshore. So this constant swell and this constant northeasterly wind too. It'd be one thing if it was constant swell and offshore winds, a little bit of less of a push up against the ocean, but we've had the waves and we've had the onshore wind, which has been pretty steady for the past couple of weeks now. Every single time we've had one of these storms, we've been in the side of the pattern where it's just been that extra added push.
Yeah.
And now we just had a supermoon, so...
Yeah, that adds to those
tide
levels.
Up.
No, we just had it.
We just had it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Monday night.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's still pretty full in the sky.
Yeah. So you might have heard king tide going around. That is really, so we were Jeff and I were talking about this yesterday, and it really just, I don't know why we only hear about it on social media and in the news once a year. It really happens every time that we have the moon in perigee. So whenever it is closest to the earth, that's when we have the super moon. So that's when we have king tides. So we actually have, I think there's 8 king tides every year. So it's just a cycle that happens whenever we have those full moons or new moons, and the moon is in perigee. So you might hear king tide, that probably sounds scary, but yes, having that full moon, being the super moon, being close to us, it does elevate our tides, but it's not going to be anything scarier than normal, I guess we would say.
Yeah, and I mean, the last couple of days, this coastal low and kind of all the other factors going into it, has been a little bit tricky to pinpoint. The models have kind of been bouncing around with the placement of the low.
Yeah.
The placement of the low 50 miles east or west could mean completely different outcomes. So
yeah,
it's been a little bit tough. I think now, though, we're going to start to talk about it more because we've finally started getting some better model data. Because I think a big thing now with social media going around is you see a lot of these posts, this big nor'easter, coastal storm, coastal low, whatever you want to call it. You'll see all these posts going out on social media of this one single model run, making it look like this huge, huge deal. What we look for is more of the consistency.
Yeah.
one model run after the next, we're seeing similar solutions, not just with the timing, but for the placement of the low. So that's kind of been the trouble the past, I would say, 2 days with this specific setup. But now I think we're in more of a situation where we can start to talk about timing, specific impacts, especially the rain, which is going to be a huge deal too, along with the coastal flood threat. So we've got a couple things.
We've seen, like you were talking about, it really makes a difference of where that low is going to be, and 50 miles could make a big difference. I mean, that makes a big difference with the winds. That will make a difference with the tides. We've seen our tide forecast. We'll show you a little bit later on as well what those tides are looking like, but those have shifted and fluctuated a decent amount between nuisance and minor. And even just 0.1 foot difference in tidal flooding can make a big impact in Hampton roads.
Yeah, especially for those low-lying spots that typically, you know, all you need is a northeasterly wind and you're funneling water in from the ocean and down the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
So we'll watch for that. For the rest of this week, though, things are right now a little, you know, humid, a little damp. We've got the rain moving on through. We've got a cold front that's moving on through as well, and that's the reason for the rain showers on and off throughout the day today. At least for me, I was in Virginia Beach earlier, wasn't necessarily that heavy. It was just kind of like a steady, you know, every now and then it'd go through those bursts. It would be on and off. But it's just been kind of dreary and definitely humid, sticky. When I, you know, was walking into the station, getting out of my car and going, and I was like, whoa, this is, I don't need this jacket. Like it's, you could feel it. But the temps and the humidity will drop off tonight and into tomorrow. Tomorrow and Friday, the highs only top out in what, the 60s?
Yeah.
60s or maybe
cooler
even
air moving in for sure. And definitely after this cold front, our dew points drop like that. Super quick.
Dropping like a rock.
Yep.
I'll actually show those 2 points. I'll go back to that graphic in a second, but you can see here the dew point. Really, look at that. Wednesday or today, as we go through the evening and overnight, Thursday's looking really dry, and then Friday it comes back up once again because that coastal low is going to be getting closer, and the wind direction is going to switch more out of us the east and southeast, so bringing in a little bit of moisture off the Atlantic. So the dew point will go back up. I'll switch back over to this graphic here to kind of give you a rundown of what we're kind of basically talking about. The temps again dropping this weekend, that coastal storm. Everything's on the table for this. Rain, heavy rain potentially, especially along the coast. Wind, we could see wind gusts over 50 miles an hour. And it's kind of, that's also been a tricky thing with the models, kind of going back and forth. Yesterday, I think it was Kitty Hawk, where the model was like, yeah, this could be gusting to 65. Yeah. And then it backed off the next run, and it was back down to like 40. So it's still, you know, we're still in that span where it's going to flip-flop a little bit. But I think now we're starting to hone in on some things. 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts easily. Yeah. For some of those Outer Banks zones where it's, you know, they're way more exposed. Coastal flooding with the higher tides will be a threat. And also, again, the moon is still pretty full. So we'll be having that added impact from that potentially. So lots of different things here. We're going to start out, before we take a quick break, I just want to show a little bit of what's going on with Jerry because it's still out there. Yes. I did it yesterday. Jerry. I hope that Jerry gets strong and stays out to sea as a surfer.
Well, it does look like it will at least stay out to sea, but it did, from when we talked yesterday anyways, looks like that has the forecast track has strengthened a bit in what we were talking yesterday. So yesterday it looked like it would be a max category 1, and then I haven't looked at it today. I don't know if it changed. I know yesterday evening it was Cat 2.
Right now it looks like a pretty healthy looking tropical storm, but they put it back down.
Oh, they did put it back down.
It looks like now it could be running into that little zone of upwelling from these previous storms. That cooler water. We did also talk about this yesterday too. I think yesterday the original thought was this thing's going to go over a spot where maybe not enough water was upwelled, and so maybe it would get to Cat 2 strength. Still not out of the realm of possibility, especially in this zone of the Atlantic this season. But it looks like potentially, my guess is that upwelling, that cooler water at the surface from these past few storms is going to influence how strong this thing gets.
Yeah, definitely. And either way, regardless of how strong it gets, the track is staying in the Atlantic. So that is great news. And every time that I look at a run, it looks like it shifts a little bit more to the east of Bermuda. So that's even better for them.
It's staying far away. And even our impacts weren't going to change much even with the shift.
Right.
And I think with the timing of this being right when that coastal low is offshore, it's our impact. We're not really going to notice Jerry. It's more so we're going to be noticing the low right over top of us. So that's that. We will come back in just a few minutes. We're going to take a quick break. Feel free to drop your questions in social media. We got Facebook going. We got the YouTube live stream going. So let us know if you have any questions on this coastal storm. We'll have more details on that coming right up. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. We're going to be talking about this coastal storm that's going to be moving on through the area. We'll show you some of the model data. We'll show how the GFS and the Euro kind of compare because they are starting to get better agreement. That was one thing we were really lacking yesterday and the day before. And then we'll also show you some of the tidal impacts, the rain impacts, the wind impacts. A lot to talk about.
Impacts with this.
Yeah, this one's going to be a strong one, I think. Probably the strongest one, the strongest coastal low.
Yeah.
That we've had in these past few.
Yeah, I think it'll be comparable to that one that everyone was like, "Oh, this is really bad," and where people were saying that it was worse than some of the tropical systems that we've seen through here. I think it could be comparable to that.
Yeah, unfortunately too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just coming right up. It's hugging the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
It's hugging Hatteras. And just staying right. It's staying just enough, just close enough to that we get the impacts here. So here we go. It's going to start to ramp up to our south. So Hatteras, Rodanthe south, south of the Oregon Inlet, parts of eastern North Carolina and southeastern North Carolina. We'll get into it first Saturday morning. I don't think it'll be raining by this point into the south side just yet. Maybe we'll have like an isolated shower because of that easterly flow, kind of getting in some moisture off the Atlantic. But again, I'm not seeing much with when it comes to rainfall at this point. However, as the storm continues to move north, we will see that rain start to increase across North Carolina, across the south side, and it will continue throughout the overnight hours of Saturday into Sunday. I think Sunday is really where the wind
Sunday's going to be the hardest hit day. Definitely, that's when we're going to be seeing the strongest wind gusts with this. That's when we will probably be seeing some of those heavier downpours potentially with this. And we'll be seeing probably some of the worst tidal flooding and everything that goes along with that. Could see some ocean overwash. I
think overwash is a guarantee.
Yeah.
I think some parts of NC12 are so compromised, even with a weaker storm, that it's almost a guarantee. And especially with the wind direction, too. And it's going to be, this thing isn't moving too fast. Like Saturday, it's all day Saturday. we're talking all day Sunday. Like this thing is still off of our coastline to the east at around 8 p.m. on Sunday. So we're talking about 2 days and then maybe even lingering on Monday.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it would last into Monday morning at least.
Yeah, at the very least.
Yeah.
Surfers, winds are going to switch at some point in this swell. I just don't know when.
You were just dying to get some sort of good wave.
I want to go to the Outer Banks really bad. It's been so long. I will say, though, for surfers along the Outer Banks, there are going to be some zones where you probably shouldn't enter the water. Buxton. All the areas with debris in the water.
Yeah,
that's
would be
dangerous.
real bad. Yeah.
That is full homes. 9 homes have collapsed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to be anywhere near those zones. You don't know what's in the water.
Exactly.
Could be full refrigerators underneath, and you don't see it because the water's all murky.
Yep.
Because of the waves crashing constantly. You're kicking up that sand, eating away at the beach. So just not smart. But I will say, there will be some windows that you can score some surf. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed here. So again, we're talking about a Saturday ordeal, Sunday all day, and then maybe even lingering on Monday as well. So let's see how the GFS and the Euro compare, because right now they're in much better. Yeah,
it looks a lot better than yesterday to where this is tracking. But hugging our coastline.
You can see the closed contours there with the GFS and the Euro. Not exactly over the top of each other, but pretty similar. I think the GFS is a little faster.
Yeah, I was going to say they follow pretty much the same track. What really is the difference is just the timing.
And the GFS really wants to head up into the mid-Atlantic, like New Jersey, New York. Like it really wants to hug the coastline there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But I think both of them take it real close, pretty much like just due east of Hatteras.
Yeah.
So I think with this, we're keeping it. We're keeping the storm over water. We're keeping it in its fuel source. This fuel source, the cooler and drier air from the continental U.S., the warm, more humid air. The Gulf Stream is pretty much right offshore, kind of helping to feed it. This interaction between the air masses is going to help to really get the storm going. One thing that you can really tell with the model runs here is look how tight the isobars get out of the north and east. We're talking real strong wind gusts. This is Monday. Yeah, this is midnight Sunday into Monday. We're talking some really strong winds for coastal areas especially. And even inland areas, it'll probably be pretty gusty as well. So here's what we're kind of thinking here with the future track for the wind gusts. It's going to be windy the next couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the front that's bringing some of those gusts up to about 30 miles per hour.
Yep, through the day tomorrow.
Yep, that's staying breezy because we also have that high pressure that's to our north.
Yeah.
So we're between, you have the cold front move through, high pressure to the north, and then we've got this coastal low that's going to be developing and moving through. So again, we're in the middle of a number of systems, keeps our wind stronger. Yeah,
so winds turn more easterly on Friday. That's a sign of things to come. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I mean, it's game on. Let's see what the models are saying now. The updated guidance here. The winds will ramp up throughout the day on Saturday. I think Saturday is our transition day, where we start out maybe depending on where you are, it's calmer, and then things start to really start to whip up in terms of the wind coming up on Saturday evening. So we could see gusts 30, 40 miles per hour. Maybe getting up towards 50 miles per hour for places like Hill Devil Hills, towards Hatteras, Melfa, the Eastern Shore, even the Virginia Beach oceanfront will likely be gusting upwards of 40, maybe 50 miles an hour Sunday morning. And then this storm finally starts to pull away. Look at Melfa, 50. It wouldn't surprise me if we get maybe a quick gust to around maybe close to 60. This is going to be, again, a strong storm.
Yeah. It will be. Yeah, I would say a lot of our gusts are probably going to be about 40 to 50 along the coast.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Could have some of those isolated higher gusts, of course. And again, it really depends on where exactly is the center of that system, because a 50-mile shift makes a big difference.
It does. And again, with that wind direction, whenever we talk about coastal flooding, you have to talk about wind direction. It's more important than the wind speed when it comes to coastal flooding. Because if you have an offshore wind, you're blowing water out to sea. Yeah. You're getting like a reverse effect. You're not getting storm surge. You're getting this, you're getting pushed in the opposite way. It's getting out to sea.
Yeah.
But this graphic only goes out so far still. We're not even counting the weekend yet.
Seeing the weekend in there.
This is just from the northeasterly wind after this front moves through for the day today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about
I will say the one thing that works in our favor is that at least when we're looking into the weekend, that's going to be about a week past the full moon.
Yes.
So these tides are a little bit higher than we would normally see just because we're still kind of closer to that full moon phase.
Yes.
So that's already elevating our tides. So we'll see naturally a little bit lower tides as we get into the weekend.
See the added effect won't be as much this weekend with the moon.
But we'll have stronger
the
winds.
Storm. Yeah.
So
naturally, it's a balancing act.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is just from, we'll have sunny skies Thursday into parts of Friday, but it's still going to be blowing out of the north and east pretty strong. So we're talking about nuisance to maybe minor tidal flooding for Thursday morning, around 11 a.m., that high tide, around noon on Friday, and then that's around midnight Friday. And then Friday around noon likely being the peak of it. And then we'll have to see. It's still pretty unreliable to look past Saturday at midnight at this point. But my guess is that we'll probably be into that minor range at the very least.
I would say that we, for the weekend, are definitely going to be seeing minor tidal flooding. Maybe a couple of locations pushing into that moderate category.
It's going to be isolated spots.
Yeah.
Lynnhaven Inlet River System will
where
likely get there.
Typical hot spots.
Parts of the eastern shore.
Yeah. I think that we will definitely be seeing minor tidal flooding is the more common thing, for sure. But it is good that at least some of these from when we were looking at it yesterday have backed off a little bit. So before we were in the minor category, now we're kind of like borderline nuisance minor tidal flooding. So that helps, but still will be impactful over the next couple of high tide cycles around noon Thursday and into Friday.
And it's not just the saltwater.
Right.
It's
so
the freshwater rainfall too
Yeah.
Now, this is the next 7 days. So, including this storm that we're currently dealing with right now at the front.
But this one's only giving like maybe half an inch of rain.
Quarter to a half an inch at the most.
It's not bringing much.
Most of this rainfall will come this weekend.
From, the weekend storm.
This coastal storm, and it's going to be near the coast. I've been looking at models. They are, GFS and the Euro are lockstep with that. It is very similar zones getting maybe 2 to 4 inches of rain. There could be some outliers. Wouldn't rule that out. Inland areas, 1 to 2, generally.
And with this rain, having 4 inches of rain, I mean, that is going to be causing more problems because you already have that tidal flooding that's going to be happening. The rain has nowhere to go.
Just saturate. I mean, we're getting rain here too today, so it's ground's gonna be a little saturated. Just filling up. There's going to be those low-lying spots, across the Hampton Roads cities that don't drain well, that will probably have a tough time getting some of this out. Before we go on a quick break, I want to leave you with this. Let's see what this is. Here we go. Our temperatures, they are really going to drop as we go throughout. Look at Thursday. Thursday, we're going to be seeing highs in the 60s.
Crazy.
It's going to go, we were in the 80s past 2 days.
Yep.
We're going to flashback to fall really quickly. Look at that. 40s. For early Friday morning towards D.C. How about that? 30s, Syracuse. That's another cooler air mass coming on. It's going to be cool. I'm curious. I'm going to take it all the way out to the afternoon hours of Friday. And, we're still in the 60s. So it's going to be a cool wrap to this work week. We'll be back after a quick break, and we'll get into your local forecast in just a few, talking about when this rain's going to move out today and then talking about tomorrow, too. All right, everybody, we're going to take you on a quick radar tour. We do have some heavy rain across parts of Hampton Road, or not really parts of Hampton Roads, but more so, yeah, I guess parts of Hampton Roads. We've got some rainfall and Portsmouth at the moment, some downpours out there right now. A little bit in northern Chesapeake. You can kind of see it there. 664 is probably getting drenched with some rainfall. Parts of downtown Norfolk seeing some rain as well, and then parts of Virginia Beach also seeing a little bit of rain, kind of towards Kempsville, just east of that, near looks like Pecan Gardens. A little bit of a little brief downpour moving through there. Just moved over Mount Trashmore not too long ago, so watch out for these little cells kind of moving through. They're non-severe, so that's the good news. And then we have a bigger cluster, mainland Dare County, East Lake towards Manio, Kill Devil Hills, seeing some really, really heavy rainfall out there right now.
Yeah. It's good, though. Northeastern North Carolina definitely needs that rain. That's where they're in that moderate drought. So it's good to see some of that rainfall, and we'll get plenty more as we head into this weekend.
Yeah, so we're going to be watching as this cold front moves through. Look at the cloud cover.
You can clearly see right where that front is.
This is draped, you know, models data's coming in a little bit slow here, but you can really, you know, it's a well-defined front.
Yeah.
It's a really well-defined front. You've got the clear air filling in, the clouds hitting the terrain up there in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. Some really cool kind of cloud formations there showing up on the satellite. But when does this rain actually kind of get on out of here? The model's actually not doing a bad job of initializing.
No, pretty good.
Maybe it's a little too intense, but it's, again, the placement is there. So we'll go throughout the next couple of hours here, 6 p.m., maybe another round towards northeast North Carolina. Again, they could use all the rain that they could really get. Trust me, there will be no lack of rain over the next 7 days. Yep. As we go through around midnight, we're dry, and the breeze, it's steady, 15 to 20 miles per hour during the overnight period. So it's going to be a pretty impactful windy night out there, out of the, again, northeast. And then as we head into Thursday, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah,
we're looking
nice,
great.
Dry, lots of sunshine out there.
Lots of sun.
Should be good.
Still looking at the, still looking at the wind.
Yep.
That's going to be ramping on up. But otherwise, we're looking great. We're looking dry through the day on Friday, too. Winds turn more easterly, and then the clouds, they'll start to fill in late Friday out ahead, again, of that next system. So we'll be continuing to watch for that. Again, it's going to be a cooler end of the week, too. So
it's going to be,
a wild ride.
Try to do some of those indoor plans, I would say. I mean, we've got those winds, again, 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. We're looking at having ocean overwash, waves, could be up to like 12 feet.
8 to 12 feet, maybe even more.
Mainly Sunday will be the biggest windy day, and then some of that minor tidal flooding. So we'll keep you updated on that. You've got more coming up at 4
o'clock, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you guys.